Welcome everybody to the Chess Lab. This is a very unique video. In fact, this video is fully scripted. Right now, I'm reading from my notes. I have never done a video like this. This is truly one of a kind. I know what you're asking. Why are you doing this? The reason is, I want to try to explain to you something I've realized. It's something so important that I can't leave it to improvisation. The message must be absolutely and utterly clear. In the past few months, I've worked very hard on my chess. I built a modest yet robust opening repertoire. I've trained playing both online and in person, and I also recently started to study endgames and middle games. For endgames, I'm reading Silman Complete Endgame Course. For middle games, I am reading How to Reassess Your Chess. Both of these books are written by Jeremy Silman, a legendary maestro from the United States. From studying these two books, written by perhaps the best chess teacher of all time, I've discovered two critical characteristics. One applies to chess in general, one to my own. I am truly convinced that these two factors are critical for true chess improvement and understanding. The first factor. Chess doesn't have to be a mess of random information. Chess can be studied systematically in order to maximize learning. The second factor. In my games, I always, at least at one point or another, have the retching feeling that I'm losing control. In every game, I feel like I am not following a coherent, structured thinking flow. I will repeat the two critical factors that are, in my opinion, crux of every player on earth chess improvement and understanding. Factor number one. Chess can be studied systematically in order to maximize absorption of new information. Factor number two. When I actually play, I do not follow a coherent and structured thinking progression. To repeat and summarize one more time. 1. Chess can be studied systematically. 2. When I actually play, I lack coherency and structure. Now, let's stop for a second. Here I want to involve you as well. However, I need you to be honest. Not with me. That doesn't mean anything in the slightest. You must be honest with yourself. Let me ask you a question. When you study, is your study truly systematic? Before a studying session, are you really confident and happy because you know it's going to lead you into actual improvement, both in your game and in your rating? Or perhaps you're simply doing what you've heard to do, like solving puzzles, or studying openings, or perhaps even endgames. Even though every time you try to actually do it, well, it's quite a desperate attempt, isn't it? Now let me ask you another question, even harder this time. When you play, despite of the result, that doesn't matter. When you play, while you play, do you feel coherency? Do you feel structured? Or perhaps you feel constantly lost? Now I'm going to ask you a third question, the last one. However, the most brutal. When you win, do you truly feel satisfied? Do you truly feel like you have outplayed your opponent smoothly? Or, really deep down, you know you are playing a guessing game. You just happened to do it better than your opponent this time. I'll be honest with you. For me personally, I feel negative about all of the above points. Before studying, I'm only partially happy. Yes, I will improve somehow. But I don't have an actual structured plan, a long-term structured vision, so to speak. When I play, I don't feel coherency. I don't feel I'm bringing into practice what I've studied at home. I just force myself onto many chessable courses, and over time I eventually somehow improve a bit. When I win, especially important over-the-board classical games, I don't truly feel I've had control. I'll give you an example. In my last classical over-the-board tournament, I have won my best game against a 2091 rated player, a strong candidate master. I played a Sicilian with the Marozzi bind, which means pawns on c4 and e4. And my opponent had a hedgehog setup. I managed to win, because I didn't collapse in the opening and middle game, and my opponent blundered in the endgame. And I was even very happy about that game. I noticed clear improvement and higher quality moves. However, to this day, I have no clue on how systematically play with the Marozzi bind, and I don't know how to play against the hedgehog specifically. My only North Star was a game by Karpov that I studied years ago, and that, to be honest, I can't remember too clearly, and the structure wasn't even exactly the same. This led me to my next, very grim point. By studying and working very hard on my chess without a proper method, I've noticed this. I've improved my results against the club players. But my results against masters stayed the same. To say it in another way, when I face a master, I just lose, and it's not even close. Before I continue, let me address a thing or two. To anyone who says, this is normal, it sounds you're actually improving correctly. You are consistently beating club players, which you didn't before. So just keep doing what you're doing. And eventually, even if it may take years, you will play fair and square with the masters as well, and you'll be a master yourself. First of all, I appreciate your kindness, positivity, and logic. However, I disagree with all that. Let me explain. Right now, I'm training like most people at my level train. I work on my opening, I learn basics of endgames and middle game planning, I play a lot, and, well, it's working. But there is a massive problem. Every person at my level is doing what I'm doing and improving. Right now, I am rated 1972 FIDE. People like me, they all move into the 2000s. Isn't it amazing? A lot of us even reach 2100. Awesome, right? Well, not really. Because if we keep the same logic, then there is no reason why a player shouldn't reach 2200 and even 2300, which would mean you are a master. But this doesn't happen. Almost never. The few that breaks those rating ladders must be doing something different. But what can that be? After thinking for a while, I came to a conclusion, which is, by the way, what I've been saying so far. The difference between a strong improving player that makes it to 2000 or even 2100 and a strong improving player that becomes a master is the robustness of his or her systemization. Meaning, and this is of utmost importance, so listen up. The difference between an expert and a master is how well systemized his study is and how well systemized his thinking process while playing is. And this, ladies and gentlemen, was my conclusion. However, now comes the question, how do we study? What do we study? How and what do we study in order to improve our thinking process during the game? How do we truly assimilate and practice the material so it becomes flowing, smooth, second nature in our games? My friends, I'm afraid I found the answer. This is the moment when the YouTuber usually puts in his or her course. Go to the link in the description and check out this revolutionary chess material, or something on these lines. I wonder how many of the people that click on these links become masters one day. No, ladies and gentlemen, I won't offer link, courses, or programs. What I will do is try to open mine and your eyes. In fact, I believe we already have everything we need. I think the answer to questions such as how and what to study properly, how and what to study to play properly, I think such answer already exists. I'll cut it short, but I came to the conclusion relatively recently. A few people have helped me understand. A special thanks goes to Daniel Naroditsky, Andrei Esipenko, Jeremy Silman, Mark Dvoreski, a dear friend of mine who is a strong candidate master, a rival of mine, but absolutely not an enemy, who is a strong local FIDE master, and myself, because this little beautiful silly brain sometimes works too. So, what's the answer? Well, I think it's simple, and it has been under our nose for decades. That is the Russian School of Chess. The Russian School of Chess, which you may also call Soviet School of Chess, is a training methodology with roots in the Soviet Union, characterized by a rigorous systematic approach to learning. Key features also include an emphasis on relentless study, treating chess as a sport, a focus on endgame technique from the beginning of training, and developing strategic understanding. The definition was taken from AI, so it's not perfect, but it gives us a general understanding of what we are talking about. So, what are the next steps? First, understand what exactly to study and to practice. Second, study and practice the right material in the right order. That's it. Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm sold. Now we must act. Talking is beautiful, but we need to get the hands dirty. This is serious. We are doing it. Anyone watching this, I want to become a valid chess master, and I will share my journey here with you. You can simply enjoy it, but what you can also do is jump along and become a master as well. You are free to choose whatever you want to do, but I want you to know the choice is there. So, what's the first step? Well, before going berserk, we must understand what the Russian school of chess actually is. We can only start from there. If you don't take this step, we'll just study at random like before. We'll improve for sure, but won't likely ever become masters. Not even close. So, how do we learn exactly what the Russian school of chess is? By learning it from a grandmaster. Roman Dzindzihashvili, legendary grandmaster and chess teacher, once did a 3-part series on the Russian school of chess, explaining not only what it is in great detail, but also giving practical advice to players on how to follow it and how and why study. It's exactly what we need. It's perfect. The 3-part series is behind a paywall, but since my favorite anime is One Piece, we will illegally watch it for free on YouTube. Hopefully Dzinzi will forgive us. So, in the next video, I will record myself while I watch these videos. I'll add my thoughts, inputs, and I'll take notes in order to create the ideal study plan. Hopefully, you are ready to join along. I have the feeling it's going to be an interesting journey. Have a wonderful evening and enjoy your chess.